Ecuador, a small country packed with wonders. You've probably heard of the majestic peaks of the Himalayas, home to Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, challenging climbers from all corners of the globe. However, if you think Everest is the highest point on Earth, you're missing out on an intriguing secret. Ecuador boasts a mountain that could be said to steal the crown from Everest in a completely different way. You may have heard of Chimborazo, and if you haven't, brace yourself for an eye-opening experience, as this is the place with the highest peak from the center of the Earth. A bit absurd? Let me explain. Ecuador, officially the Republic of Ecuador, sits nestled in the western part of South America, sandwiched between its neighbors Colombia and Peru. Notably, Ecuador lies smack dab on the equator, which gives the country a magical mix of tropical lowlands and the cool climates of its highlands. This location isn't just a geographical quirk, it creates an incredibly diverse ecosystem, making Ecuador a true gem in the heart of South America. Spanning about 283,500 square kilometers, Ecuador boasts a wildly varied landscape. The Andes Mountains stretch from north to south, dividing the country into three main regions: the western coastal area with stunning beaches, the lush Amazon region to the east, and the central highlands where the capital city, Quito, sits, known for its historic charm and cool climate. And let's not forget the Galapagos Islands, home to natural mysteries and a World Heritage Site, attracting nature and science lovers from all over the globe. The people of Ecuador are a blend of many cultures, from ancient indigenous communities to the influence of the Spanish and the mix of modern cultures. Spanish is the official language, but indigenous languages like Quechua are also widely spoken. Ecuadorians are known for their warm hospitality and their deep respect for traditional values, from vibrant, colorful festivals to their nature-revering customs. Ecuadorian culture maintains a profound connection with nature, especially with respect for cultural heritage and the natural beauty that the country possesses. Economically, Ecuador mainly relies on exports like oil and agricultural products like bananas, cocoa, flowers, and coffee, which have helped build the nation's reputation in the global market. Additionally, the tourism industry is rapidly growing, with the Galapagos Islands and its ecological reserves standing out. However, the country also faces challenges like public debt and the volatility of oil prices, which can sometimes make long-term economic stability difficult. Ultimately, Ecuador is a truly beautiful and diverse nation, where nature, people, and culture blend harmoniously. The country draws global attention not only for its natural beauty, but also for its unique culture and endless development opportunities. Ecuador is steadily evolving, seeking new chances to reach even further on the world stage. So then, without further ado, let's embark on a journey to discover the wonders that Ecuador has been hiding. And to begin, we will delve into Chimborazo, a mountain with a special story that you surely wouldn't want to miss. 1. Chimborazo, the highest mountain from the center of the Earth. If you visit Ecuador and get the chance to climb Chimborazo, you won't just be overwhelmed by its height, but also by the sensation of standing very close to a special point in the universe. At an elevation of 6,263.47 meters above sea level, Chimborazo isn't the highest mountain in the world by conventional measurements. However, because the Earth isn't a perfect sphere but bulges at the equator, the summit of Chimborazo is taller than Everest when measured from the center of the planet. Mount Everest, despite its height of 8,848.86 meters above sea level, is actually shorter than Chimborazo by 2,168 meters when measured from the center of the Earth. Imagine this. When you stand on the summit of Chimborazo, you are truly standing closest to outer space. Not Everest, but Chimborazo is the mountain that gives you the feeling of being nearest to the Earth. And if you think climbing Everest is a feat, then Chimborazo is no walk in the park either. To ascend there, you need excellent health, meticulous preparation, and the courage to face the bone-chilling cold of the Andes. Each step will make you feel like you're walking on clouds, or at least very close to it. Chimborazo, nestled in the Andes mountain range, is the highest peak in Ecuador, and a fantastic spot for anyone who loves adventure and mountaineering. Its summit is impressive not only for being so close to space, but also for the incredible biodiversity it supports. The land around the base of the mountain is home to lots of unique animal and plant species, some of which can only be found in the Andes. A climb here is more than just a physical challenge. It's a chance to explore the stunning beauty of Ecuador, from vibrant green fields to mysterious cloud forests. What's also cool is that Chimborazo is relatively accessible for climbers with moderate experience. While it's not an easy climb by any means, many tour companies organize climbs and expeditions, helping visitors enjoy its beauty while staying safe. So, even though it might not be as high as Everest, Chimborazo is still a must-see for anyone who loves a challenge and wants to experience that feeling of being as close to space as you can get. 2. What the equator can do in Ecuador. In Ecuador, the equator isn't just an imaginary line on a map, it's a real destination where you can feel like you're standing between the two halves of the world. When you set foot at Mitad del Mundo, middle of the world, you'll find not only a landmark marking the equator, but also a treasure trove of fun games and experiments that could make Einstein himself raise an eyebrow. Have you ever heard of balancing an egg? Here, you can do it. The locals love to challenge you to place an egg on top of a nail and keep it from toppling over. Miraculously, at the equator, gravity seems to take a day off, allowing you to become a circus expert in just a few minutes. If you succeed, you might even receive a certificate proving your high-level balancing skills, something your friends will envy. Not only that, but you can also participate in water experiments. Get ready to be surprised when you see the water swirling in two different directions just by moving a few steps across the equator. In the northern hemisphere, water swirls clockwise, while in the southern hemisphere, it swirls counterclockwise. And right on the equator, the water flows straight down without swirling at all. A magical trick that you can only witness in Ecuador. And if you think this is just a bunch of gimmicks to attract tourists, think again. This is real science, born from the peculiarities of our Earth. The bulging at the equator makes gravity weaker here. And these experiments are not just entertainment, but also a fascinating lesson in physics. Don't forget to try standing with one foot in the northern hemisphere and the other in the southern hemisphere. It's a strange feeling when you realize you're floating between the two halves of the world. Just one small step, and you can say you've traveled through two hemispheres in an instant, something not everyone can brag about. But the most charming aspect is how the people of Ecuador turn the equator into a fun and friendly symbol. They not only take pride in their country's unique position, but also inspire visitors with humorous stories and bright smiles. From enthusiastic street vendors inviting you to buy a Mitad del Mundo t-shirt to cheerful guides explaining how gravity works here, you'll feel that the equator is not just a destination, but a memorable experience. In Ecuador, the equator isn't just a line on the ground. It's where everything we know about the world seems to be challenged. And when you stand at Mitad del Mundo, you won't just be snapping photos for Instagram. You'll be taking home fascinating stories that no other place can offer. 3. Ecuador, a land of mountains, seas, and forests. Don't be quick to assume that Ecuador is just about towering peaks and chilly temperatures. This small nation boasts a natural diversity that few places in the world can match. From the majestic Andes Mountains to the vast Amazon rainforest and the enchanting Galapagos Islands, Ecuador is brimming with wonders waiting to be explored. You've surely heard of the Amazon rainforest, a biological treasure trove of the world. Ecuador holds a significant portion of this lush paradise, home to countless species of flora and fauna, found nowhere else. If you're a fan of untamed nature, an expedition into Ecuador's Amazon is one of the most exhilarating journeys you can embark on. Just picture yourself wandering through the dense green jungle, where bizarre creatures like toucans, Amazon parrots, and monkeys swing from branch to branch. And if you're feeling particularly brave, you might even encounter some rather exciting residents like anacondas, giant tarantulas, or piranhas. But fear not, the locals are incredibly friendly and will gladly share safe ways to explore the jungle without running into any thrilling mishaps. Not to mention, Ecuador is home to the famous Galapagos Islands, where Charles Darwin made his groundbreaking observations on evolution. Here, you'll encounter rare species such as the giant Galapagos tortoise, equatorial penguins, yes, you read that right, penguins at the equator, and gentle sea lions. Galapagos is truly a paradise for wildlife enthusiasts and lovers of extraordinary natural phenomena. Ecuador is also famous for its Andes mountain range, which boasts towering peaks, stunning turquoise lakes, and lush green valleys. You can especially enjoy exploring the small villages tucked away in the Andes, where indigenous people still keep their ancient traditions alive through farming and handicrafts. If you're into mountain climbing, the Andes is an absolute must-see. One of the highlights is Chimborazo, Ecuador's highest mountain, where you get this amazing, almost surreal feeling of being super close to outer space. When you visit Ecuador, you're not just diving into untouched nature, but also discovering and experiencing rich cultures, from the little villages in the Andes to the indigenous communities in the Amazon rainforest. Ecuador is a country with outstanding biodiversity and cultural variety, making every trip an unforgettable experience. 4. Ecuadorian culture, festivals, cuisine, and warm hospitality. In addition to its stunning natural beauty, Ecuador shines with a rich cultural heritage and a culinary scene that's simply irresistible. Strolling through the historic streets of the capital, Quito, you'll feel the blend of Spanish colonial heritage and indigenous traditions. The colonial buildings with their vibrant painted walls, winding cobblestone streets, and the lively atmosphere of the city will make you feel like you've stepped into another world. One of Ecuador's standout features is the friendliness of its people. If you stop by a cafe, you can expect to be greeted with warm smiles and, occasionally, fascinating tales about legends and ancient deities like Inti, the Inca sun god. During traditional festivals, you'll see Ecuadorians dressed in colorful attire, dancing energetically, and celebrating in a joyful atmosphere filled with music and movement. The Inti Raymi Festival, Festival of the Sun, is one of the largest and most special celebrations in Ecuador, where people gather to honor the sun, which the locals believe is the source of life. When it comes to cuisine, Ecuador will leave any food lover swooning. One must-try dish is ceviche, a fresh seafood delight marinated with lime, onions, and spices. If you're a soup aficionado, don't miss locro de papas, a creamy potato soup with cheese and avocado that's incredibly flavorful and hearty. And be sure to savor a cup of hot coffee, as Ecuador is also renowned for its high-quality coffee beans. 5. Ecuador, a hub of wonders and surprises. You might not expect a country as small as Ecuador to hold so many wonders. From majestic mountains like Chimborazo to mysterious Amazon rainforests and the fascinating Galapagos Islands, each trip to Ecuador offers amazing, unforgettable experiences. What you'll learn in Ecuador goes beyond lessons about nature and evolution. It's also about living in harmony with the natural world and appreciating cultural and biological diversity. Ecuador is also known for its vibrant, multicultural society. It's one of the most ethnically diverse countries, giving you the chance to explore the ancient traditions of indigenous tribes like the Quechua, Shuar, or Quechua. These tribes still keep many of their age-old customs, like worshipping gods in their special festivals, or traditional celebrations like Inti Raymi, the Andean people's festival honoring the sun. These traditions and customs are what give Ecuador its unique cultural identity, which you can experience firsthand through local festivals and events. When it comes to nature, Ecuador stands out not only with the Amazon, but also with the Andes Mountains, where you can challenge yourself with mountain climbs and explore untouched areas. Chimborazo, especially, is Ecuador's famous mountain where visitors can stand the closest to outer space. At 6,263 meters, Chimborazo might not be the highest mountain in the world compared to sea level, but it's the closest to the Earth's core, which creates a very special experience for anyone who loves exploration. Ecuador is also home to one of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet, particularly in the Galapagos Islands. This archipelago is not only where bizarre animals were discovered, but also one of the most unique places for wildlife, with species like the Galapagos turtle or equatorial penguins. The islands were a huge inspiration for Charles Darwin's evolutionary studies, and now they're a must-see for anyone who loves nature and wildlife. And when you've spent long days exploring, climbing, and immersing yourself in nature, take some time to enjoy delicious meals. Sit in a cozy cafe and listen to folk stories from the local people. These experiences will make you not just love Ecuador, but also appreciate the cultural and natural values that the country is protecting and preserving. Ecuador is not only an ideal destination for nature lovers, but also a place that helps you understand how to live in harmony with nature, as well as learn valuable lessons about sustainable development. Conclusion: Ecuador, a destination worth exploring. In summary, Ecuador is an intriguing and surprising country. Whether you're an adventure seeker scaling mountains, a wildlife explorer, or simply someone looking to delve into a unique culture, Ecuador has something to satisfy every desire. From the highest peaks on Earth to untouched lands yet to be explored by humans, Ecuador is truly a destination you cannot miss. So, give Ecuador a try, not only to conquer the summit of Chimborazo, but also to immerse yourself in the magical realm of its nature, people, and culture.